Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. I love my Mondays. They're so wonderful. And today, especially because it's President's Day, and it's a holiday for the kids, and I left my grandchildren sleeping late. I mean, there's adults there, but I left them and didn't have to do breakfast and all that stuff. So it's been fun this morning to just get up and lazily get ready and be here. Almost was late. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. Yes, you are. Monday through Friday, 10 to 11, right here on Lone Star Community Radio. And we made the big announcement on Friday that Lone Star will be going FM, 2 FM stations, in fact. And it's 104.5 and 106.1. And that's very exciting. That's next to some really popular radio stations. So we're going to have a lot of people stumble across us and go, wow, this is great. But the potential of 200,000 people being able to hear this show and us influencing people, oh my word, what a thought. What a scary thought. But it's going to be fun. And, of course, it's Monday, so you know who was in the house is Lieutenant Bob Berry from the Conroe Police Department. We're so happy, so proud to have you, Bob. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Yes. I saw Bob's bright and shiny tanned face along with his lovely wife, Lori, in church yesterday. This is a good guy, and you feel safe. You know Bob's there. I mean, you feel safe because you know God's there, but it's good to have Bob there as his servant to make sure we all stay safe. And, you know, it's getting scary when in church, of all places that you felt like nobody's going to do anything crazy in church, but in history we've seen that, and in current history, that that's not true. And so to have an officer in church and have people that are caring, as they say, right? That's the proper, that are caring and that are there in case some very strange person who thinks that they may know better, or that there's a reason that they need to make a disruption to get some attention or something, may come in and do something crazy with a gun. So we are protected both physically and spiritually. And so it's okay. I mean, no, I don't think anybody's going to stop going to church. In fact, if they start doing that stuff like that, more people will go to church because that's how we are in America, especially in Texas. Don't you even think about coming and trying to mess with our church, you know, up in here, because we wouldn't hear of it. But that brings us. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say that it's not uncommon to have some type of a police officer in churches. Majority of them come from that church, and they work for that church as security, and a lot of them do carry weapons in there. Right. So it's not uncommon for that. It's something that.
But most members or people that are going to church there don't even know it's there.
That's correct. Yeah.
But now we have a clothed officer, a very obvious officer walking around, and what's so bad is I saw him come down the hall, and I went, thank you so much for being here. And he says, good to see you. I didn't even recognize it was one of the members. I just saw the uniform, and I'm like, yes. Okay. But I think that's great. See, I believe in all that. I think that's good. I think God would think, you know, you need to protect people. You need to protect your own. And I'm here. Everything's going to be fine spiritually. But there are people that they have the free will to do whatever they want to do, and sometimes they use it for bad and for evil. And we have people there to protect us. And that is a subject matter I do want to talk to Lieutenant Bob about, is about how the schools handle that same situation. That, you know, if churches are having armed officers and having officers there just for protection in case somebody gets weird, because we have enough, I mean, you always feel like every man would jump to stop something, you know, from happening. They're not going to just sit there and go, oh, let me go in prayer to God, you know, if this person is jumping on people and doing things bad. So I think that the schools of all people should be, you know, thinking the same way, that we need to have that kind of protection and that kind of just and more the presence, so that if somebody's going to do something stupid and want to go into a school and get some attention and get their name in history book or something, that they understand that this is not going to be an easy take. It's just like they say with the robbers. The robbers go down the block, and if they see this is armed by, Smith and Wesson, or this is, however they see this and go like, that's a deterrent, because there's a lot of people that don't. So let's go to the easy mark and go in where it's just soft, like a potential of going in and getting what we want out of this house. But I really do think the presence of, when they say no guns allowed on this campus, and they have that big sign out there. So does the perpetrator, terrorist, or whoever walks by and sees that sign, is that an invitation to them, Bob? Does that make them feel more like, okay, well, there's no guns here?
It depends on what their purpose is. If somebody wants to come in on a campus and have a gun and they want to use that or some type of disturbance, the sign in and of itself is not going to keep that person from getting on the campus. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. No,
but would it encourage them to come in because it says no guns allowed on this campus? Mm-hmm. Would that encourage them to go like, this is a soft, easy target?
It can be.
Yeah.
It depends on how your school district or college wants to do it.
Now, a lot of times they have security on there, but do those, like at Lone Star, does the security people there at Lone Star, are they carrying?
Yes. Well, not necessarily the professors or teachers.
No, but the security.
But they have a security, have a police department basically.
Right.
And they do have officers there.
Okay. So that makes a difference. But in these elementary schools and all that I would think, if I was going to do something bad like that, I would have to kind of consider where would be the easiest way to go in there, do the most damage in a short amount of time, and be able to, get the result I want, which would be terror in people.
And what they want to do is they want to make as big a thing as they can out of it. And so the sign by itself is not going to stop them. It's like having a robber that goes into a convenience store and they have that sign on the door. It says, you can't bring a gun into it basically because of the alcohol that's in there.
Right.
But you can't bring that gun in. But the robber doesn't care.
Yes, right.
So they're going to go in
and
use that. Use that gun.
But you're right. If there's alcohol in that premise, then on the premises, then they wouldn't want people carrying, whether it's open carry or whatever. They don't want them coming in with a gun because of that. But still, I don't get how, unless you pay someone. If I paid an officer to be on my store premises, then that would be private, and I could do that, and that's okay. That's my okay. So I could have that officer there. So if I say you can't bring a gun in here, we already got one to take care of you that bring guns in. Like if you, so that you let them know I am being protected by those.
And in our area, between Conroe, Montgomery, Willis, all the school districts there, they have some type of security. And most of the time they are a uniformed, armed officer. And so do they cover all of them? Maybe not, but they do have a vision out there. You can see them. You know that they're out there.
Well, I would think that like in like the local schools around here, the elementary schools and schools that I've walked into, where there's not a presence of any kind of officer or someone that's strapped with rifles and machine guns or anything like that would make you feel like, okay, we got this covered. There's nobody's going to be able to get in this place. And it's a small school compared to a college where you're trying to get from one place to another. That to be able to feel like the security people are going to be able to get to a situation. Now, they're closer than if they had to call the police and have them come in from a station somewhere. But still, for someone that just goes nuts and snaps and you're just, you're not ready for it. I know we can't, you can't be ready for everything. But when something like that happens, do they do training for that? Are they looking to see if something like this, if this occurs, and we get some kid on his cell phone calls, and they're in the room, and they're the perpetrators right there, and they tell them that hurry, they're here. That we can get to those people fast enough. It's scary for me because that's in a college. I understand that. And there's so much activity, so much stuff going on. And you try and keep everybody as safe as possible. But in a small elementary school where there's not anybody in there that has a gun. Now, in Oklahoma, they have started where you can. It's a small school in Oklahoma, but that district is allowing the teachers to go be trained and licensed and carry guns into the classroom. And then they were talking about it on the radio. So they wanted to have the opinion of someone in HISD, like, why don't we let the teachers carry in those schools? And so the official said there's no way we would ever allow the teachers to carry weapons into the school. And the guy says, well, why not? I mean, this is working in Oklahoma. Why wouldn't we put this in place here in HISD? And his answer to me was so creepy that he would admit this. He said, we can't even find places for our teachers to put their valuables, their purse and whatever, during the classroom hours without it getting stolen. So imagine if they had a gun that they had to put, in some kind of lock or something, and that be stolen by the students. I go back to the first part. Everything, your teachers can't find a place to keep their stuff from being stolen, except it's strapped to their body, and that just amazed me. Well, yeah, you're right about that. We can't let the teachers have anything that the kids could steal from them, like a gun. Okay, I get that. But oh my word, that was just like, how could you admit something like that and then try and have job fairs for teachers? Yes, come on and be on our side and be, scary.
Well, I will tell you that being a teacher is getting harder every year.
And poor Christy, my oldest daughter, who's getting ready to graduate in a couple of months, and sees all this, and hears all this. But we have so many teachers in our family that it becomes like, that's the thing to do, is to be a teacher. But now going into it and how scary it is. And she's in her 40s. She started really late trying to get her degree, and she has fought tooth and nail to get this. It's been 5 years she's been in school working and trying to get this, and now it's just about to happen. And now you go like, I caught the bus. I caught the car. What am I going to do with it now? So it's going to be an interesting process. But guys, we're going to be right back. We've got a break coming up, and then we want to try and get a hold of Jimmy the C and talk about our draft choice and if we're ever going to get a quarterback. We'll be right back, and my special guest here with me in the house is Lieutenant Bob Berry of the Conroe Police Department. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Conroe now has another first. The Cindy Cochran Show. Mornings at 10 a.m. on irlonestar.com.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
The East Texas Dream Center is in need of your help. We are a nonprofit Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. We are conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas, 77301, right here in Montgomery County. Our needs are financial and every needs of gasoline, cleaning supplies, laundry soap, Lysol, and whatever else God puts in your heart. To help our ladies and children, please consider a donation. You may visit our website at www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, so you don't forget, it's www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Donations are tax deductible. Remember what Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Even if these walls could talk, they couldn't get a word in edgewise.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. It's Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. And, of course, happy, President's Day, for sure. I don't know how you celebrate President's Day. You go out and spend money with their pictures on. I guess that's the one way to celebrate it. I think I'll do that way. But it is President's Day. And, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with the Scalia family. What a loss. What a shock that happened over the weekend that everybody is talking about, that Judge Antonin, they called him Nino. That was his I guess the name that everybody said because it was hard to say his first name. But his Scalia died, and they said it was a heart attack. But it's funny because only in Texas this is how they got the death warrant and declared him dead, was that they called a justice of the peace, and then the officer that was on the scene told them what they found, how he looked and all that, and so she declares him deceased. And they don't have to be there. No, they don't have to have a coroner or someone come and say, you're dead. But that's how we do it in Texas. And so now all the controversy, of course, there's the conspiracy theory. Everything is going crazy right now. Even Drudge Report, and I really am going to have to talk to Drudge, that he put up there that Judge Scalia was found with a pillow over his head. Now, if you are in the middle of the night and you start having chest pains, or you feel it, and it hits you, and you go, there's all kind of pillows could be everywhere, and it could be over your head. I just, with them to suggest that someone came in and made this happen, and then they start stating because of all the big controversial decisions that are up now before the court, so that I just think they need to make the movie and just happen. What were you going to say?
Well, you were right. In the state of Texas, what happens in a case where somebody dies and there is nobody there, and it's not an accident or anything like that, the justice of the peace does get notified. And depending on the situation, when the officer gets there, looks at it, sees what's going on with it, we believe this and this and this happened or didn't happen. And based on that, at the scene itself, and especially something with a justice, Supreme Court justice, they're going to have an autopsy, and they're going to determine what the cause of death was.
And the family has refused the autopsy.
Oh, have they? Okay.
Yes, and that makes it even worse, because now without the autopsy and a confirmation of something, that's going to make it. They're going to go crazy. Everybody's going crazy about it.
And that's where all the conspiracy theories are coming in. But typically that's what happens, and the justice of the peace is the judge, and it has the ability to do the autopsy or ask questions or an inquest or whatever. Even though there may not be an autopsy, he or she can still have an inquest as to what was going on.
Right.
And so, yes, it's kind of a little bit different, but we deal with that almost on a daily basis here locally.
That you mean when somebody is to pronounce them dead?
Yes.
Okay. They have to
we
call
do
them.
have to contact the justice of peace that's in this area.
So over the phone, they are making a decision based on what the officer's telling them, and whether that there's no extenuating circumstances that could be, deemed as, that's not right, something's, wrong here. So they have to make that judgment over the phone with the person.
Well, at least. And there are a lot of them that the judge actually will come out to
They
the
will,
scene.
okay.
Let's say, for example, you have an accident or a crash, and somebody might have been drunk, and somebody was killed in the crash. The judge will probably come out and look at that. If it's a 85-year-old person and they've got medication, and you call the doctor, and if that's a current doctor and the doctor says, yes, I've been treating this person for the last 6 years for XYZ, then, and there's no foul play, I mean, there's nothing out of the way. And what most agencies do, and I tell you what we do, is we send out the officer, we send a crime scene investigator, and then a supervisor, at least, if not a detective, to come in and look at it. And all those three people or so go in there and look at it, and then they call the judge and say, hey, this is what we have, this is what we believe, and it goes from there.
Right, okay.
And sometimes we'll just tell the justice of the peace, hey, this is not looking real good. And the judge will actually come out and look at it and go from there, depending on the circumstances.
Yeah, well, the circumstances here were that the justice of the peace was so far away, and this was hard to get to. This ranch was hard to get to.
Yes.
So they made the decision to do that, and that's understandable. So but it made it look like only in Texas can somebody over the phone make that decision.
There are a lot of people that get there before the justice of the peace actually gets all the information. So.
Sure. Well, it sounds like it, especially here in Texas. But because we don't want anything to look bad, especially a Supreme Court justice being here, and we didn't do our job or didn't do what we wanted to do with something like that. We've had too many things happen in Texas that, it's like when Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. I was so embarrassed. This is so stupid. I was like in 9th grade. I was so embarrassed that this happened in Texas. Of all things for it to happen in Texas, because now everybody's going to blame Texans for his assassination, and that you don't want it to happen in your country. You don't want it to happen at all, but it is it's a sad thing. But boy, has it talk about throwing the monkey wrench in the thing. What's going on?
And another thing with that too is when you have a city, say the size of Houston, they have their own coroner,
right? And
they will actually come out and do it right there,
right?
And do it. But that depends on the size of the city, county, the area. And in the cases here with Montgomery County, we typically use the justice of the peace. But like in Houston or Dallas or something, they have their own coroner that goes in and does that.
Marfa is where this happened.
Yeah,
Marfa,
that's
Texas.
Pretty far out.
Yeah, pretty far out. And I don't know if Marfa has all those things going on for them, but it's so funny. The hunting thing, though. I've heard, my husband's friends, hunters and stuff, and I've heard Marfa mentioned about place to go, but this sounded like a luxurious resort that this guy owned, and invited him to, with other people to come hunt, and he was a big hunter. So it was very sad, very sad. And what's even sadder is because when it happened, and we've got this presidential election going on, and all that it has now put on the plate of our Senate and then for the president to do his constitutional duty. Finally, he decides he's going to follow the Constitution and is using that for that he has responsibility to nominate the next one. And then, of course, the Republicans are saying, whoa, Jack, now we're going to exercise, our muscle to hold on to this till the next president comes along. And I think, I was listening to both sides back and forth, and the valid reasons for what the Republicans have is certainly obvious. And there's some precedent sets for these things to, that holding off the nomination has happened before. This isn't the first time at the rodeo for the situation to happen. So it's going to be very interesting. And I want to talk about it as we get back on the other side of the break about this. But we're gonna go back to one thing, and you said something to me during our last break, right before we came back on, about how the colleges are and the security. Can you go over that just one more time and say that to the listeners as well?
One of the most important things that we have as far as security goes with colleges or school districts is they have to set the policy as to what they want to do with that. Do they want to allow people to carry guns or not carry guns? They also have the determination of, do we tell our teachers and our students that we are going to, if something comes in, they have a procedure. They close the door, lock the door, turn the lights off, and the three basic things: do you run, do you hide, or do you defend yourself?
Right.
And so those three things is really important with the school districts or the colleges or whatever have to make that decision and get that protocol out there for everybody to do it. And sometimes they're different. Some do, some don't. Oklahoma might be great for that. But so far, I don't see a whole lot of them going into and getting civilians carrying guns on campus.
Well, I think that what bothers me is that these elementary schools that do not have, they don't have any protection that we're aware of, and I'd like to be made aware if I'm a grandparent of the grandchildren that go there or the parent, to know what procedures are in place. And if they've got to call a station and get in touch with the officer that they've been deemed like that will take care of them, why can't we have an officer in there being paid to do this? And it may be a budgetary thing, but I'm telling you, if parents get to a point, and all we need is one incident to happen, and then
and that may be the one that changes the policies for that college or school district. But you're right, the budget part of it is really going to go out of sight if you have an officer in every school or every college.
Right. Well, but the security of the parents, I mean, and all, like, what a perk that would be for that school to say, and we have an officer on campus, to be able to say that is here all the time. So your children are, and as long as they don't get that officer that's there becomes complacent and he starts having to mimeograph, tests and things like that because he doesn't have enough to do. My word, I have seen that happen where they have officers that are doing things that are going like, wait a minute, he shouldn't be standing there looking at this computer screen when he needs to be, walking around, and just the presence of him there, and that the kids are not afraid of the officer, that this is a good thing, that he will protect you. This is what officers do. And so I would think that would be interesting as a vote coming up on, on where the money is going and what we need to do. And it's so funny. I know they raise money all the time. And I know it's a hard thing to get money into a district and all the money they need. My word, if they could just buy more ink for the printer and the things that come home for homework, and I can hardly read them because the print is so bad because there's not enough ink on the I'm going to join the PTO. I'm going to join it, and that's what everybody's probably yelling at the radio right now, is saying, you go join the PTO, get involved and all that. And
that's what's going to have to happen.
Right.
If you really want that, and there are a group of people out there that do want that, they're going to have to put the pressure on the ones that take care of the colleges or the schools.
That's
be
right.
It school board or whatever it might be. Right.
That's what's going to happen is everybody get more involved, and you're right, the pressure comes from within. And a lot of people think, I am not going to any PTO meeting. I felt like I'd been to all mine. I don't need to do it anymore. But I will be the person to raise the hand and say, how about this and how about that? So listen, guys, we're going to be right back after this break. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show along with Lieutenant Bob Berry, and hopefully we'll get a hold of Jimmy the C to talk about some sports. But I do want to spend the next segment talking about this, the Justice Scalia's death and what that means to our election process. It's a shame. We should just let this guy be buried, put him to rest, and then talk about all the stuff. But it's hot and furious right now. All right, guys, we'll be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Tune in to Chamber Chat with your host, Courtney Galley and Samantha Good, with the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley. Samantha and I will chat about the Conroe Chamber's upcoming events and programs for the month. Relax with a cup of joe or your favorite drink for Chamber Chat.
Hello, Montgomery County. I'm Rachel Baldwin with Special Olympics Texas, Area 6. Are you a fan of courage? Are you a fan of determination? Are you a fan of acceptance, grace, and skill? Then you're already a fan of Special Olympics. Make it official. Volunteer, coach, and/or compete and be a fan of dignity and acceptance. The dedication of our Special Olympics Texas volunteers provides mainstreaming experiences for athletes with intellectual disabilities. You will touch the heart of another person, and it will move you in a meaningful way that lifts the spirit. Please visit the Heart of East Texas Area 6 webpage at www.sotx.org. Also, like us on Facebook to be a fan and be part of Special Olympics Texas.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. Through our Operation School Bell program, we have provided new clothes to over 50,000 students in our county. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. It's Monday. Hey, listen, I wonder what you did this weekend. You know, like how you had fun. Sam and I went and saw Hail Caesar. And Hail Caesar was, to me, I enjoyed it because I am so ate up with the classic movies, the 40s type of movies. And so a lot of the stuff that they would talk about and things that they did was, you know, you have to have been like aware of that era to really enjoy the show as much like as I did. And they had a lot of inside stuff. It'd be like for other actors and for the establishment of the movie industry, those people would think it was hilarious because the things they ran into, the problems, and with how they had to deal with these prima donnas and the workings, the behind the scenes type of thing of these actors and all. That was fun. I enjoyed that. But man, when we drove up, it was packed. We had to drive around to figure out where we're going to park. And at the Grand, that doesn't happen unless it's the Star Wars, the new Star Wars that came out. But even more than that, it was Deadpool that came out. And when we walked in there, and the lines were just like, you never have to wait in line, that big a line at the Grand. And we waited in line, and everybody that was in front of me was asking for Deadpool. And then we got in there, and the concession lines were horrible. And that's what aggravates me more than anything, is that you knew this movie was coming out. You knew that every kid, and millennialist is going to come see this movie, and you've got 3 people working behind. I've got to talk to a manager, that kind of thing. So Sam and I get through all this mess of the kids and everybody in the lines that they've got them all standing in lines, all roped off. And Sam goes, "What is Deadpool? What is that about? The guy looks like Spider-Man. What is this?" And he was very confused. So I don't know how many kids saw this that were confused about it and were embarrassed by it. I just don't think anybody was embarrassed by it, because I think everybody knew inside. My son, Chad, went to go see this. His wife wouldn't go see it with him, and that's what he did for Valentine's Day. He went and saw that, and she worked on her teacher stuff. But that was, I didn't think that was a great thing to do, because I was watching the grandchild for them so they could go do something romantic together. But anyway, I think just getting a nap sometimes when you have a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, that's good enough. Anyway, so Deadpool was extremely popular, and I kept looking for Richard in the lines. I didn't see him, and I think this thing is a phenomenon. It looks like. Richard, did you even think about going to see it, or did you see it?
I want to see it, but I'm kind of waiting to see it with my cousin and friends.
Well, you need to wait for the lines, because that's what Chad said. He had to wait in line, and it just drove him crazy. Here's about waiting in line at movies. Now, at the Grand, like I said, you don't really have to do that bad, but usually I am just getting there just minutes before the thing may be starting. That's my fault. Okay, so the people in front of me didn't know that, but here, people are talking to each other, and they move up one. Come on, and then they move up, and then the person in front of you goes, "Well, let's see." Now, I was thinking about, and she's saying this to the ticket seller. I was thinking about seeing Hail Caesar, but I don't know. Have you seen it? No, ma'am, I haven't seen it. Okay, well, why is everybody here for Deadpool? What is that about? I thought I would, like, Cindy, don't do it. And
get him out.
So you change lines, and then you change lines to go like, well, what is this reward card thing? How do I know that, how's it going to save me money? So then you go in the concession line, and you've got the same mentality that's standing there talking to each other. And when they finally get up there, they wait as long as I have. I'm right behind them. And they finally get up to, there's the glass, and they go, well, let me see. I really had enough dinner. I don't think, well, maybe I'll get a hot dog. Do you want to get a hot dog? What about you? Do you want a hot dog? And then you realize they've brought 50 people are coming now in to stand with them. Do you want to, I'm here. What do you want to, and they start coming to join their one person that you thought you were standing behind, and trying to figure out what they want to get. And you've had all that time. I don't understand you people. And I try so hard not to say anything. It's really, really difficult to, but Sam, is worse than I am, because he'll do the sigh every time they start something, and he'll go, and so everybody hears the sigh. But it was the hardest thing for me to do, and I'm so proud that I realized that I would have been the biggest hypocrite of all time if I would have done this. We get out of the movie, and I had gotten up to go to the restroom one time, and I saw these kids, these teenagers, lurking around that back door. Okay, so I knew, but it just felt like what they were trying to do. But so I went back to my seat. When we came back out, they were still there, and they were looking around, and they were opening the door and looking for and all that. That I didn't go to the person, go find a manager and say, "You've got kids letting people in the side door." And so I just didn't know if you guys were for that or against it, but I wanted to let you know that. For me, of all people that brings in my hamburger and fries and drinks to watch the movie, and when they say don't bring outside food in, so I couldn't do it. I said, Cindy, you're a hypocrite if you go and tell on those kids when, Richard's probably been trying to call the manager at the theater to let to blacklist you from being able to come in the theater. So I wasn't going to do it. So I didn't. So I was very proud of myself. But anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to see if you guys had as good a time this weekend as I had. Did you do anything, Bob?
We had a long Valentine weekend.
Oh, how romantic. Oh,
yes.
Lori looked so beautiful Sunday. She had all the, this really cute outfit on and stuff.
I bought her some tulips, pink tulips.
Pink tulips.
Yes.
Are those her favorite? Is that why you did it?
She likes pink.
Okay.
And instead of doing roses, I did tulips.
There you go.
They last longer. They open faster.
Yes.
And a lot of flowers, after a while, they get a little smell to them,
Yeah.
But the tulips don't. And so I got tulips, and she gave me some candy and a card, nice card. And then we worked around the house a little bit, went out to eat. Then we went to church Sunday morning, and we had family Valentine.
And after that great sermon on sex,
yes,
did that make you want to go home and cuddle?
Yeah. Why are you turning red?
Because I didn't think you'd answer me. Oh, that was good. That was good, Bob.
Actually, last night we were working out in the yard a little bit yesterday afternoon, and we actually got a bonfire out and sit along the fireplace and did a bonfire and had some coffee and.
Oh, you mean the outside fireplace?
Outside, yeah.
Okay. So we had a bonfire in the fireplace?
No.
Okay.
Bonfire outside.
Outside, okay.
And we have a little patio with a fireplace on it, and we snuggled up and drank some coffee. And
that's so sweet, and discussed the sermon.
We did that on the way to going to lunch and then down to the family.
That's so funny because our big group that we were at Margaritas, and that's a Mexican restaurant. We weren't having margaritas. We were at Margaritas. And so we're there, and that topic is just so funny to discuss. My son leaned over and said to me,
"Do I really have to listen to this?"
They send all the young children out from 6th grade down. They send them out, and they have activities for them during the sermon, because this was going to be, something that probably would make them feel very uncomfortable, and they wouldn't understand a lot of it anyway. So
made a lot of adults
comfortable as well. But he was talking about how this, sex this has been created by God. This is good. This is good stuff. It's fine. It's great. And God wants you to have sex. And just going on and on about it. Well, and you've got to find the time. You got to be selfish about this. Your kids come second. So Chad leans over and says, they should have kept the kids in here for this so that they could understand that the kids need to be understanding about the lesson. Oh, yeah, right. I can see Samuel going, you think Cindy and I need to leave the house more often? Yeah, right. So it was, my kids, anytime they would even think about asking or talking about stuff like that, they would just go totally under the table. I don't want to hear it. Fingers in the ears. Don't even talk about that stuff. We just think y'all met and you adopted us or something. That's all we want to think about. But it's been great. That was the last of the series that he preached on. They called it Birds and the Bees. I call it Sex in the Sermon. And so it was it was great. It was great that he was able to talk about that and feel the confidence and the support from that church to do that, to go ahead. Those elders said, yes, this needs to be talked about. We're not hiding this stuff, under the...
Once a year is good enough.
Yeah, that was... I'm going to schedule my vacation during that time. No, it was great. Okay, so I do want to get back to Scalia, and we'll do that right after this. Sorry, I got into the movie. I had to just tell you all about that. But anyway, we will get right back to Judge Scalia and its effect on the presidential race. We will. It's like a minute and a half, just a minute and a half. Just don't go away. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, and it's going to be worth it to come back. So come back. We'll see you in just a moment.
Conroe now has another first. The Cindy Cochran Show. Mornings at 10 a.m. on irlonestar.com.
SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County is a 501c3 all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our goals are fourfold: to rescue and rehabilitate homeless animals, to provide a safe haven for the animals until a suitable adoption or foster care home is found or until they are reunited with their owner, to educate the public about the great need to reduce pet population, which includes the importance of having their pets spayed and neutered, and to further the cause for humane and responsible pet ownership, and to provide a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for people who are unable to afford to spay or neuter their pets otherwise. SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. That is right. I think I may be the most opinionated talk show host. But if you saw I saw the Democratic, their debate and watched the whole thing. I missed Saturday night because I was at the show, and I missed it, and so I just saw the highlights. But you got to see it, right?
You know, I watched the whole thing Saturday.
Okay, and they did mention Scalia in that because that had happened already. And so, what did you think? Who won that? Did you feel like
there were so many people still standing out there? I mean, we need to thin it out a little bit now. Okay, before I say much anymore, I've got to tell you and everybody else that, my disclaimer.
Right, that's right.
On
that's
this,
right.
my police stuff and,
You're off the
my
record.
personal stuff is totally different sometimes. Okay,
Right.
But so don't get me in trouble with all of this. But
no, this is off the record.
Yeah. Okay. I think in some ways it was very serious. There were some really good things that were brought up, and then there were parts of it that were just hilarious, fighting amongst themselves.
Oh, like school,
oh yeah,
6th grade school ground. Oh.
Yeah, and the best two. Well, I saw two different things. I saw Rubio and Cruz battling with each other,
right?
And then the other part of it was what they were doing and what the people in the audience were booing Trump.
Right. And you heard the complaint about the stacking of the audience with, people that are donors and people that are lobbyists and stuff like that. People come into that and get their way in to the audience. And so Trump has said, this is stacking the audience. And there's been other people that are complaining about stacking the audience. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's really true or not. But you know what? It doesn't matter. That even makes Trump followers, cling to him harder and say, this is exactly what we want. We want everybody against him because we know that's got to be the right guy because they're all against him. And so it just makes it so much more fun to watch these things. But it is getting down to, who's going to be there to make decisions like right now with Scalia's death that they're saying of course the president has the constitutional right to nominate someone. But like you said, the Democrats who have come in and put forth the deal breaker on saying, it doesn't mean that the Senate can confirm that if they want to, but they don't have to. That's a decision by the Senate. They make that decision. And so that was done through the Democrats, like how you could put it off if you want to, right? That was not a Republican thing that they said. And that it's okay to do that. And there has been precedent set that the Senate can hold on that. They can put it off and they can block it or whatever they want to do, but they can put that off until the next president, especially on election year. They can say, look, for Obama to appoint this person when he is going to be gone in so many months, and the court does take a break during the summer, so there's the months then come even smaller before a new president will come in, and they'll allow the people to elect who's going to be the next justice by who they elect, for the president's, the new president of 16. And that will be an interesting vote because if you allow the people, if that's what they say the reason is, we want the people to make that decision. Because right now, President Obama will make his decision based on his liberal views and all that he's done. But what if the country is going a different way and with all they're seeing, so they're all for Sanders or something different and all, they don't want to think like the old establishment thought. So let the people decide. Let them, and if the Democrats win, then she or he can make that appointment, and then let the Senate decide. Because at that point they'll have to decide. So I see it's all okay, and for the media is going crazy with it. They are going absolutely nuts with it. So I mean, do you agree with me that let the people decide?
I think the media has overdone the stuff that they should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Send the news, not all the things about what they think they should be doing,
right?
And they argue and they talk about this,
or to choose what news to send to influence you.
Yes,
that's what, and I think everybody's revolting against that as well. Mm-hmm. So when Sam and I watched Bernie and Hillary go at it, it was so fun to watch this take place and to see this guy. And now he's got some really weird, strange, out there ideas, and then he can articulate against her a lot of things that he supports, and you see why the younger people want, because he wants everything free for you. You see why they're attracted to him, and like this is their dad. This is my granddad. My granddad would never tell me that anything that's wrong for me, and then you've got on the other side this infighting that's just not helping. if everybody could slap each other in the face, say, look, instead of looking at each other throughout the debate, look at the camera and talk to the people. That's, somebody could just let them know that. I've been asking Hillary to call me for some advice because I think she's got the wrong people that are supporting her and telling her things that she should do, the way she wears her makeup or clothes and things like that. I just think people that she's bringing around her are not really for her. And so I feel like some of the Republicans, now they're going to be here at the University of Houston on the 26th, I believe, February 26th at U of H. I have to look that again. But anyway, they're coming to Houston. So we'll see how many we can get on the show. I just don't know if it's going to happen.
Maybe we can get on there.
Yeah, that would be awesome if they would let us stand outside and talk to people and and interview people. But I don't know if Trump will come on the show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll try and talk him into it. But we have Rick the Man, the Silver Fox, coming up next. And so you guys stay with us. If you want to know about starting new businesses and anything financial, this is the guy to listen to. Okay, we'll be right back tomorrow and through Friday on the Cindy Cochran Show, 10 to 11. We will see ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station, by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.